Hello everyone, it's me again. Sorry I haven't made a video in a while, but I thought that the last video that I made was kind of emotional and I wanted to kind of regroup after that. I'm now a junior and I just finished my fall semester here at UW-Madison, and it's been an interesting semester. I've learned a lot about different groups of people. I took sociology and economics, and I'm very happy to say that I'm thinking about declaring in economics next semester, as well as statistics. I just have been really interested in what my professors have to say about it and the subject on a whole, because growing up where I have been, where I went to like public school, and you kind of saw a lot of problems that other people had, as long as like what problems you've had, and realized that a lot of people kind of struggle in the same way. And so economics kind of naturally just was that topic where I was able to get a better understanding of my situation and my life. And so finally having like a clear major that I'm actually excited about has been really helpful and has relieved a lot of stress that I've had the last 2 years as an undergraduate here at Madison. I think that I'm very excited to get through these prereq classes because I am a junior, and so I have to go through the basic first year courses and second year courses in order to get to where I would typically be. And so I'm just a little behind in that, but I'm really excited to hopefully get through to some of these more interesting classes and be ready to graduate here hopefully soon. Um, One thing I did want to talk about was kind of making the right decision to go to university or college or whatever you do. Um, I think a lot of students, high school seniors who are graduating, feel a lot of pressure to go to these big name universities or to go to college. And I'm just not sure um, if people really understand what university is kind of like all about. It's been like University of Wisconsin-Madison's wonderful. It's a really big school, but I enjoy the atmosphere here of it being a big school. Good athletic programs. It's always kind of fun to go watch the teams play, but there are times where it can feel a little isolating, even though it's such a massive school, and so getting involved with stuff like that. Um, for those people who are very practical in their lives, like they want to make sure that they're learning stuff that they're gonna use in their jobs. I think university might not be the best place where they can make the most out of it, out of those skills that they really enjoy. If you want to go into that route and you do want to go to university, engineering programs are really good for that. Other kind of more sciencey, more hands-on stuff, which would be like kind of coding, depending on like what you want to do with that. And other machine learning type stuff could be really interesting. I thought about taking some like kind of woodworking classes, but they weren't really woodworking, kind of just curiosity. It was just kind of like a curiosity lab where you just kind of mess around with different machinery to make different things. And so I thought that was really interesting. But I think if you want to go into that sort of study, maybe going to more of a trade school would be better, because then you'd actually be doing hands-on work um, and stuff like that. And you could actually find mentors who would literally be teaching the stuff that you would be doing day to day as whatever you want to be, whether that be like an electrician or or the people who like make roofs and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of that profession, but other like hands-on jobs where you're literally doing exactly what you've been doing the last couple years. And I think that's like a lot, like I think America as a country has been really bad at getting people to go into that field and putting a lot of social stigma behind it, which I don't think is a really good thing, because in Germany a lot more people go to trade school and it's turned out to be very useful. America has been kind of corroding in its infrastructure. Like if you look at a lot of high schools, like a lot of them are really old, like they look like Harry Potter, like buildings and like kind of Gothic architecture. And I think some sort of modernization of these buildings would be really helpful, whether it's by architects or other people who design buildings with more hands-on experience. I thought that would be, I don't know if that would be helpful at all. Because university is more about teaching you how to think, whereas I think going to like a college or a trade school would be more of like hands-on. So if you really like doing hands-on stuff, I would really go into that. It's also 2 year. It's usually 2 year programs, and they're also a lot cheaper. So if you really like doing that stuff, I would highly suggest going that route. But I also know that I have a couple friends who have gone that route because they didn't have the good grades. Not that they weren't smart people, but they just didn't really like school. And I also kind of sometimes vibe with that. I think school can be kind of tedious or not very useful for future. And so I know a lot of people have gone into going to trade school and stuff, and they've made a lot of money. I know people who've made $80,000 and it's been maybe 2 years. And so kind of it's really good to see that like you can go to trade school for not very much, but then also be getting like a really good salary out of college. And so I think going into that going through that path is pretty beneficial if that's what you want to do. Um, because I think this idea that university is the end all be all and it's like a part of your identity is very toxic. Because at the end of the day, no one's gonna care what university or what school you went to, as long as you're like smart and that you can show that you learned something. So I think that's really kind of the message here is don't fall prey to these ideas that like you have to go to university, because it's just not true. And I think that some people will be a lot happier not going to university than they would be going to university. I'm not saying that university isn't for everyone. I think if you really like if you want to go to university, you definitely could and you definitely should. And I definitely think everyone has the potential to go, but I think it's up to the people who've graduated high school and their decision to be like, hey, I don't want to go to university because I don't want to spend, I don't know, 10,000 or $100,000 in loans and then pay them off who knows when and then get a degree that may or may not be super helpful or may or may not be exactly what I wanted versus maybe getting a 2 year degree and then deciding, oh yeah, like I really like this and then transferring to university or whatever. So I think maybe just double checking exactly what you want because there are options to do anything. I think that it's I think it's pretty good. I'm not saying it's a perfect education system, but in terms of like graduating high school and then kind of deciding what you want to do, there's a lot of different routes. I do think that some people kind of get locked out depending on what they want to do, but um, don't feel pressured to do something that you don't want to do. I think that's kind of the biggest thing here. Um, and so, yeah, I know a lot of people in Germany. The statistic is like a very small percentage of people who graduate from their high school equivalent level of education end up going to universities, like a small number of that, and then the majority of them actually go into like trade school or whatnot. And I think that's been really beneficial for Germany as a whole country. And I think we can learn a lot from that here in the United States. And um, so yeah, not only just picking the right school that you want to go to, because then it makes picking a major like what you want to do a lot easier because then you feel like you can actually learn and then you can actually do stuff. Because now that I actually have a major, it's a lot easier for me to do well in my classes because I feel more focused. I'm not so anxious about like, oh, I have to take a bunch of more classes that I'm not sure they would really be going towards my degree. And so finally kind of settling down on one topic has been really good. And that's kind of shown in my GPA too. My GPA has kind of been going up ever since my first year. And so I'm hoping to continue on that track. And I think that don't just make sure that you're happy in what you're doing. I've been lucky enough to figure out kind of what I want to do instead of kind of just coasting by. I know some people that I know and also some of my friends kind of feel a little trapped, and so they came to university and it's not exactly what they wanted, but they're making it work for them. And they just don't look as happy as like maybe they would be doing something else. So yeah, at this point this has kind of been kind of rambling on into other stuff, but thanks for watching, and give this video a like and subscribe if you want to. I'm not probably going to be posting videos regularly since I'm not super committed to a YouTube channel, but yeah, thanks for watching.